Have you applied for a bond several times but keep on getting declined for whatever reason? Well, there is actually a way how you can buy a home without applying for a home loan. It is called an installment sale, where you deal directly with the seller. Property investor here in front of Westhuizen explained exactly how this works. Jeroen, welcome to All About Property.
Thank you very much.
Now, a lot of people understand that you can buy a property cash or you can buy it with a home loan, but not many people realize that there's a thing called installment sale. Just shed some light on this for us.
The installment sale is basically a watertight agreement between the seller and the purchaser, which allows the purchaser to buy the property in an installment sale over a period of between 12 and 60 months. And transfer of the property only takes place once the full purchase price has been paid to the purchaser.
This is completely legal, because there is a piece of legislation that allows for the Installment Act, and it's called the Land Alienation Act.
That's
Talk to
correct.
us about this legislation.
The ALA, or the Land Alienation Act, is an act which is specifically designed to help people to buy property who don't have the ability to get a home loan right away. But the way that the act is designed is that you start off by simply servicing the existing bond of the seller.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got up to 5 years to get your bond approved, which means it gives you an ability to apply for a bond and repair your credit score, which might not be perfectly now, but within 5 years you will be able to repair your credit score and pay off some of your other debt, which then gives you the ability to actually qualify for a home loan. So the benefit for the purchaser is that you do the deed of sale today, but in 5 years, the property value will continuously increase.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the outstanding bond amount, as you pay your monthly installment on that outstanding bond, the outstanding bond amount will decrease, which means the difference between the property value and the outstanding bond amount becomes larger and larger. So it becomes so much easier for a bank to give you a loan, because now the value to debt ratio is so much better. And now you've got the luxury, which very few people have, of you can actually decide when you would like to accept this loan and at what interest rate, which means you can shop around and you can decide, okay, I'm not going to take this loan right now. Okay, now I would like to take it from that bank at that interest rate. And then that difference between the interest rates alone on the outstanding balance over the next period can save you thousands of rands.
Let's try and understand this with an example. Let's say, for instance, there is a 1 million rand property.
Yes.
You are the seller and I'm the buyer.
Yes.
I want to buy that 1 million rand property from you using the installment sale. Firstly, am I paying a deposit, and what's an acceptable amount for that deposit?
Okay, so the agreed sale price is 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I still owe 800,000. So ideally, I would request that I get a 200,000 rand deposit from you.
Okay.
Because then I already have all the equity which I want from this deal, and I don't really care if you pay off the bank or the bond pays off. As long as I get my deposit out, I'm happy. Okay. And that's what makes it attractive for the seller.
So now there's 800,000 rand left, which I then pay off over 5 years.
Yes.
And what would my monthly installment be? Would that be 800,000 divided by 60 months?
Yeah, that's where most people make the mistake. You can decide to pay it off over 60 months, but that would be an enormous payment per month, which most people can't afford. So the way that most people do this is they agree with the seller to say, okay, I will pay you that outstanding bond of 800,000, which has got a monthly repayment of say 6.5 or 7,000 rand a month. I will pay you that 6.5, 7,000 rand a month every month until I get to the point where I qualify for a loan for the bond, which has then been reduced to say 700,000.
Okay, so at the end of 5 years, I would not have paid off that full 800,000 rand. What happens then?
Okay, so now you've got a few options. Either you can sell the property to any other person at the new price, which at that point might be 1.4 million, and you still owe 700, so you have an asset takeout of 700,000 rand. Or you can get the loan for a property which is worth 1.4, but you only apply for a loan of 700,000, and any bank will grant that to you.
But then I didn't actually not pay off that property in 5 years.
Now remember, the agreement is I will pay off your bond, I will pay off the purchase price in 12 to 60 months. And I did do that. I paid you a deposit up front, then I paid the monthly installment, which reduced the outstanding bond, and then I covered the last payment with either a cash payment or with my own bond, which I then applied for.
Okay, so that bond that you then take 5 years later is then significantly smaller than what you would have paid.
Yes.
Okay, that's now it's starting to make sense.
Yes.
Now, Hiran, you own a company called iBuyProperty.co.za.
That's correct.
Tell us a bit about your company.
I'm just a normal person like every other person. I wanted to buy property and I couldn't. I couldn't get loans approved from the banks. And then I started to look for alternative methods to buy more property because I believe property is the best form of investment. And then I realized, but it's quite hard. And through my search for other methods, I then discovered a number of methods to buy more property. One of them being an installment sale. I would highly recommend this method to a lot of people. It's an absolute good idea and a good method of buying property.
So if there's any sellers out there who is really interested in selling their home through an installment sale, can they get in touch with you?
If they are interested in selling their property by an installment sale, a cash sale, a fund sale, it doesn't matter. If they want to sell their property, they're welcome to contact me. We'll have a look at the property, we'll make an estimate, and we'll most likely make you an offer. And I'm going to use all my property to help at least 1,000 tenants to become property investors.
Well, Hiran, thank you very much. Lovely chatting to you.
Thank you so much.